Time for a love potion, a little sweet and spice. Throw it all in a cauldron, mix it up real nice. Fire in my eyes, stir counterclockwise. I dream of you all night. Feel with devotion, follow the signs. With this devotion, you will be all mine. I'm pulling you closer to me. You're finding it harder to breathe. The magic is taking over your mind entirely. I'm the only one that you see. I got what you want, what you need. Before you know what you are falling in love with me. Little sweet spice. Made a love potion for you. Little sweet spice.
Heyo.
Hi.
Hello. It was supposed to transition by itself. I set up the Storytellers Hearth settings and everything, but apparently I did not go in and set up my break stream settings. So yeah, I will do that for break number 2. So how is everybody? How you doing? How's your Storytellers Hearth going? What are you working on? How's that been going? I should introduce this stream. This is the Storytellers Hearth break stream where we're going to take an hour to just sort of catch up, take a breather, and then Shannon, your stream is next. And then Shannon will take you guys to stream number 6, and I will go back to sleep.
I'm stream 6, I think.
Yes.
Okay.
Because
maybe I misheard something. Sorry.
You're good. This is 5.5 in my brain, so you are number 6. These are my 2 lovely co-hosts, Shannon and Annika, who have joined me for the break stream. I'll go ahead and say hello to everybody in chat. Shannon saying hi. Good morning, Laura. Nice to see you, JK. Good morning. Carla's going into the wood. I'm going to just call you Carla. Hey, cool gamer. Ready for a nap and the day hasn't even started. We are of the same boat, Laura. Crystal's working on implementing book 1 edits today. Almost finished chapter 13 of 38. Nice.
Nice progress.
That's mood if I ever heard one. Shannon, if you want, go ahead and introduce yourself. Tell the people how your weekend's going.
I think most everybody knows me, but in case if someone is here who doesn't know me, I'm Shannon. I write in the pen name of SC Houston, and I have a YouTube channel under the name of SC Houston. And the big thing I'm working on and what's happening next for me is the Author 2 Writing Conference, which is here on YouTube. It's a free 3-day conference. Essentially, it's a major collaboration of small and large channels coming together to talk about all things writing and publishing. We just pull it all together into 3 days and set it all up with some organization so that you can make your way around to the different streams that you might want to listen to. So I'm doing some admin stuff on that today. And if I'm able to get through the admin, I'm hoping to put together my, it's the 4th packet out of 6 for my Fated Adventures. It's basically a story told through mail, but it is interactive with an online component with puzzles and games, and it's a fantasy mystery. Or romantic mystery, so there's a little bit of romance in there. But it's kind of a little bit choose your own venture. So as the romance heats up, they're going to be able to choose, because I have several participants I have to mail the packets out to. They get to choose how much spice they actually want as things heat up in the romance. So they could have it just a really easy, clean kiss or hold hands or whatnot. Yeah. So I need to get the 4th packet put together because that goes out July 1st, which is right after the conference. So I need to get it prepped.
That sounds so cool.
Yeah, it's been fun too, because I'm doing all the coding for my website, and I taught myself coding back in 2013 when I had my own business as a writing coach, And so I was teaching myself coding to do my own website, ended up hiring a company because I didn't look the way I thought I should look. But over the years, I've just kind of like looked at how they did it. And then I hired someone to do one page of my author website, and I reverse engineered it. And then I did the rest of my website myself. And then now, and that was a couple of years ago. And so now I'm able to, I think of the things I want to do and I start coding it. And with the help of AI, if something's not working, and there's none of them that work perfect, because I'll put into ChatGPT and say, okay, what's wrong in my coding? Which line is wrong? And sometimes it gets it and sometimes it doesn't. And then it doesn't help me. So then I put it into a different AI. And so I've tried, there's like 3 different AIs I'm going back and forth from. And that's because like they all update at different times and they're all getting updates, and some are doing better than, so sometimes I have to kind of play around. But if I can't figure it out, there's AI now that I can throw it in there and say, hey, why isn't this working? So
Fair enough.
yeah.
I too learn a lot of coding and stuff through reverse engineering.
Yeah.
You are far more advanced in the coding than I probably. I'm still like basic forum RPG, setting that up and everything. Without Fox, I would my website would not be as nifty as it is.
That's my idea, is it's like RPG, like role-playing games, because they have like a library with hotspots they can go to, and some places they need passwords that they get from different games that they figure out and puzzles they figure out and stuff. And yeah, but that was my idea, was the RPG. I've been wanting to do that. I told Devin about that like a year ago. I was like, I have in my mind, I'd like to have my world online where people can go there and maybe eventually make their own character, and they can move around in my world and talk to other characters from the books and stuff. But I don't know how any of that works, and I don't know how to pull it all together. And I got the idea of the story mail through David Vierguts. I don't know if you heard of him, or Scare Mail. I met him at a conference last year and we talked a little bit. And then he came to talk to a group I'm in to tell us about how he did Scare Mail. So he writes horror, so I haven't read any of it. But he sends 2 packets a month with a story in the mail for 12 months. And he started that last year, and it got so popular that him and his wife had to quit their jobs and made over 6 figures last year. And when I learned about it, I was like, oh, that's the missing key to what I was trying to do, because I want to do the interactive portion. But I was like, how do I pull it all together? How do I get people into this? You know, so it was a key for what I need to do. Of course, I don't do horror. Mine's fantasy. So
Annika?
Well, I'm Annika. I write mainly YA contemporary. And I'm starting to make videos about writing. I've been filming a vlog from this weekend, and I'm really tired. It's 6 p.m. for me, and I've been awake since 4 a.m. So, and I've been streaming or like co-hosting streams for last 6 hours.
Have you at least been having fun?
Yeah, I've had lots of fun. It's been amazing to get to know all these new people.
I think the Storytellers Hearth is like awesome for that, because I always meet new people whenever I do the relays.
Yeah.
That's what our goal and our aim is to bring a lot of people together, new and old. No, I dropped the thing. Sorry. New and old.
Especially as I don't know anyone. Literally, I don't know any of you. It's been so nice to meet you, every one of you, and chat with you and hear you talk about your writing and talk about my own writing, because I don't have writer friends IRL. So it's been nice getting to know people who also love writing.
It's hard being a writer. Such a lonely passion.
It is.
Yeah. Luckily there's the internet.
That's part of why I like YouTube events like this and stuff. Like, I'm in a couple writing groups on Discord, but because of like my migraines and stuff, I can't always be active on Discord. And I'm just very bad about finding the communities on the YouTubes. Like, I know there's a lot of writer communities there, but I'm bad at finding them.
But that's why you have this. This helps you to bring different parts together.
Yes, and this is the annual times I can come out from under my rock and be like, hello, yes, all the people.
Which you're an extrovert, so this is what you need.
It is. That's why I am on literally every stream that will take me. Stacy says, I'm trying to figure out what to eat and get Karma fed. Is Karma a pet? Or are we just trying to feed Karma so they don't bite us?
We discussed karma last stream. It's their child.
Oh, okay.
Oh.
My bad. Jocelyn said, hi, hoping to get some words in today. Nice. Hi, I've been editing and Lena's been editing and was planning to beta read, but fell asleep. So at least I have a project for this evening. And rest is good. Roy is being adorable and prancing around on the ottoman. Laura just ate a croissant with Nutella. I'm jealous. That sounds tasty. Well, go take your meds and get out the door, girl. What are you doing here? Stacy is with you, Shannon. He writes horror. I haven't read any of it. I cannot do horror.
Yeah.
Karma is the youngest child.
Ah.
And hey, ORP, I finished beta reading for you. You should have the questionnaire responses in your email.
Nice.
Oh, wait, I should introduce myself. For those who don't know, I am Writing Mom Samantha L. Nassett. On my channel, I talk about writer things, parent things, and writer-parent things. I am also one of the co-organizers of the Storytellers Hearth. On Mondays, I do live streams at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time. Sometimes they're write-ins, sometimes they're parties, sometimes they're like flash fiction free-for-all, but it's almost always a good time.
I learned yesterday you do games now.
I do. Well, I've done games since my channel started. So
I guess do you put like the title of the game or whatever into your thumbnail title? Because I read the
quarterly parties, and then
I do
the holiday bash at the end of the year, and after the holiday bash, that's my last stream for the year.
Uh-oh. Did I freeze?
No.
Okay. My computer might shut down and I'll drop out, but I'll be back. But it's been having issues lately.
No, Samantha froze.
Okay. Well, I did shut down yesterday in the middle of oh, she left out. Well, we're still here, right? Let me check the YouTube site.
Yeah, I hope we're here.
We'll just carry on without her for a moment. So are you say you're writing, have you published anything yet? Are you looking at trying to publish eventually?
I
haven't published anything yet, but
sorry.
I want to publish something in the future.
Nice. We were trying to carry on.
Oh, no, you're totally fine.
I think your restream said you're not allowed to introduce yourself.
Oh, no. StreamYard was like, the people don't need to know who you are, Sam. Which is quite rude. I think the people would like to know who I am. But what was the conversation?
We were talking about the games and your bash and how it's not in your title, but your holiday bash is the last stream of the year.
Yeah, no, it is in the title.
It is. The games?
The title, the thumbnail. Well, it's just like quarterly party, but like we play games and stuff there. It's in
but see, I didn't know you play games because I think you do your live streams at night, and I don't. I die with the sun. So I have stopped in and said hello, or sometimes I just hit the like button and then I'm logging off for the night. So I didn't know you were actually playing games. I think it's been like at least a good month since I've actually been in your live stream, longer than that. But yeah, that's really cool. Like Jackbox, I just learned about Jackbox like 2 weeks ago, and then you mentioned you use that, and I was like. Because I was thinking, we were just talking about, RPG, website, that kind of stuff. I was like, how can you like incorporate all that stuff? That could be really cool if you kind of incorporate all together for an experience for readers.
If you come to the stream Monday is our quarterly party for the second quarter of the year. So you can stop in. We'll be doing, like I said, we'll be doing Jackbox games because For the quarterly parties, I usually just do the easy internet games that I can pull up very quickly. And then for the holiday bash, that's the one where, excuse me, I put a little bit more planning and setup into it because it's the big. We made it through another year, and
Is that toward like the end of December when you do that one?
it's in December. It's
Okay.
just whenever my co-host.
Can you do it?
Yeah, it's whenever I can get the most co-hosts together. So sometimes that one's not even on a Monday.
Yeah.
But it's just, and it's the holiday bash because, like, you know, I personally celebrate both Christmas and Yule, and then there's New Year's, and then anybody else who celebrates any other holidays. So it's just the holiday bash.
I probably missed the one in December because I take off a month from mid-December to mid-January, and I've done that for 3 years in a row. Really does a whole lot for the mindset.
Yeah. After the 21st of December, I don't stream anymore because that's the first day of Yule. So after that, I don't stream anymore for the year, with the exception being like if the holiday bash, like if everybody can get together the like 21st or the 22nd, then I'll stream that. But otherwise, I don't stream like any other kinds of streams after that.
And so that might be your Monday one. What time is that one? Is that I'm trying to think. I think it's you usually go at 6, 7
for the holiday bash. Or,
no, that's coming Monday. Sorry, and my mind jumped. ADHD.
You're good. Yes, 7.
7. Okay, I might be able to stop in.
What time zone?
Say again.
What time zone?
Oh, Central. So
okay.
8 Eastern.
Okay.
7 p.m. Eastern or Central? Sorry.
7 p.m. Central, 8 p.m.
Okay.
Eastern.
But sorry, I just missed it.
You're good. As far as my own progress for, I was going to say the holiday bash. No, my own. I haven't even stopped. Nope. I actually, 2 of my 4 goals was to finish like beta reading section 1 and beta reading section 2, and I've done that. So my next task I will be going through my critique partner's notes on my short story Not For Her and just compiling like their feedback and then revising with that, which I'm excited.
You said it's beta reader feedback, but you're going to do another round of beta reading?
Yes, I will do another round of beta reading.
Because I remember you saying yesterday you were looking for beta readers later.
Yes. Right now, I just got the critique partner feedback. I will like make notes on what needs to change, and then I'll go through the document and highlight like the areas that I want to change. But I'm going to Animate Expo. So I will be in LA for like the 1st until the 9th, and thus I will not be able to work on it. So, but after I get it back from LA, I will send out a newsletter to recruit critique partners, and then critique partners get beta readers. Oh my God, my migraine's gone, but my brain said, you only function through pain. I will send out a newsletter to recruit beta readers, and the newsletter subscribers get a week ahead of, like a week before I send it out to the public. Yes. There is a word that I was looking for, but I cannot. My brain is just like a week advantage. And I'm like, it is not a race.
So you just call them all beta readers, all the groups that you have reading it?
No. Okay. So there's my alpha critique partner, which is Fox. He reads all of my like writing. Like after I do my self-revisions, I send it to Fox to alpha read, and he helps me make sure that it Englishes, because I am very dyslexic, and he speaks dyslexic well, despite not being dyslexic himself. that like it is very rarely when he'll highlight a sentence and he'll be like, hey, this isn't English, I think you were going for this. And normally he's right. It's very rarely where he'll highlight a sentence and be like, I have no idea what you were trying to say. And usually I'll look at that sentence and go, I too have no idea what I was trying to say. And then I will like request some critique partners. I usually get 1 to 3 critique partners per project at the moment. And then they'll go through and they'll like give me comments and stuff in the document. And then we will work together via DMs to sort of like fix the things that I agree with them need fixing. Or like, yeah, so if they're like, hey, this part, or you could add more details and stuff, then like I'll highlight that part and send them. They'll be like, this is the original, this is the updated, and then they can tell me if the updated is actually an improvement or not. Because it's not always. Sometimes you rewrite a thing and it doesn't fix the thing, and you're like,
But you save all your drafts, I assume. So if you need to go back, you can go back.
I do, yes. I have so many drafts. But also when I send them the screenshot, the original's preserved right there. So, another trick that I use for that is because when I'm like go through in the draft I'm currently working in, I will switch over to like the review mode where it tracks changes, and then I'll just hit the X button and then it'll undo the change. But then after I go through it with critique partners, then it's ready for beta readers. And beta readers can be writers, but I'm not looking for writer feedback at that point. I'm looking for reader feedback because readers are not the same beast as writers.
Yeah. And
so those are my beta readers. And I will do different waves of beta readers just because like I'll have, like the first wave of beta readers, and then I'll get their feedback via a questionnaire. And then I will like compile that data and see like what the trends are. And then I will fix what I think needs to be fixed based on those trends. And then I will send it out to a second wave. My biggest example of that is in my story, All That Glitters. Or Murmurder, as the Storytellers Hearth would know it, because I wrote Murmurder and I actually did the Murmurder story beta phase during Storytellers Hearth. So
yeah, I remember that.
Yeah.
So there's a few like beta and alpha reader questions I asked, that a couple that I really, really like. I'm happy that I use them, but they don't usually have to do with the story as much. I'd like to know, like, if you're willing to share, what kind of questions do you ask when it comes to the story?
Oh, I have a somewhat in-depth questionnaire, because I'll be like, what do you think of this character? What do you think of character A? What do you think of character B? What do you think of character C? What do you think of this scene? What do you think of this scene? My number one question is always, did you like the story? Because if they didn't like the story, that's going to color their feedback a little bit. And if they did like the story, that's going to color their feedback a little bit, just in different ways.
Yeah.
So knowing their bias going into it helps me kind of categorize their thing, which I don't want anybody thinking that when somebody's like, oh, I don't like the story, that I don't listen to them. I get a lot of really good feedback from people who may not have gelled with a story. Like that is just as helpful, if not more helpful sometimes than the people who actually enjoyed it.
I think they could, especially if they don't like the story, like there's nothing wrong with the story, but if they don't like it, like it wasn't what they typically probably like, then you know how to not market it from there, or how to not talk about it to people. Like, because you're like, okay, I don't want to say the story is this, if this is not what the people who didn't like the story, like if they thought, they went into this thinking it was this, but it was not what they thought it was, and it's not what they liked, that I make sure that I get the right, that you say the right thing about the story. I don't know if I made any sense.
Sometimes yes, sometimes no, because generally I'm pretty good at blurbs and summaries. So usually people know what they're getting into, regardless of, because like actually using Not For Her, this will be the second time it's gone through a beta phase. I had somebody who I had a beta reader who read it, and I was like, did you like the story? And one of the things they said was that like they don't usually read contemporary or short stories, but they just wanted to give it a try. And I was like, oh, okay. Like, this shall be taken with a grain of salt. I got you. And like part of their thing was they felt there wasn't like a ton of world building in the story, but with a contemporary short story, a lot of the world building is sort of already built in for you because it's a
Even in fantasy short stories, you don't build in a lot of backstory.
They normally read fantasy novels, which are also like
lots of background in that.
Yeah, so it's always so it's always just about like really knowing like your beta readers and stuff. And that's why like I said that I collect the data and I go with the trends. And the example I was going to give is that like for Murder, there was a trend of people who, if they caught on to the fact that Eric was the merman and it wasn't the female lead who was the mermaid, then like if they caught on to the fact he was the merman, then they like understood a lot of the like the magic and all this other stuff. Whereas if they didn't catch on to the fact that he was a merman, they would then become very confused about like his status and stuff. They would be like, okay, so he's a hunter. You need to describe the hunters. You need to explain them more. Like, do they get magic powers? Is it this or is it that? I'm like, it's literally a job title. And that I can't explain more than that. They're bounty hunters. I explained that they were bounty hunters. You don't get that. You get a good paycheck, but that's it. Nothing else comes with that. So I went and I added the infamous line where all it says is he's just like, and like I just added an Eric, like a merfolk or something like that. And two of my critique partners absolutely hate that. They keep threatening to get a petition to have that line removed. And I'm like, no, it helps readers understand. So sometimes it's just stuff like that where you just like, whereas you follow the trend of reader reactions and then you figure out why readers are reacting that way. I like getting writers for beta feedback. It's just sometimes writers have a habit of going in like they're like, yes, I'm a beta reader, but I'm a writer. So let me tell you how to fix your story. And I'm like, boo-boo, you didn't understand what I was doing with the story. You can't tell me to fix it. Like, because
I think I've mentioned it here that I had a writer who was a beta reader for the first round of my first book in my fantasy romance series. And she took out half of my chapter and rewrote it. And she said, because it's romance, fantasy romance. She says it was taking too long and it needed to happen. And I'm like, you didn't understand the story, because if they do something before the curse is broken, then they can't break the curse. So they can't go any further than what they're doing right now.
Yeah, exactly. It's like with some writers, I do want to make it very clear that this is not all writers. And there are some writers who are excellent beta readers and give great feedback. It is just, there are other times when writers go into it with a writer mindset. And it's like, you can't do that if you like you as a writer are going to interpret the story a certain way, right? Like everybody is. Writer, reader, doesn't matter. When you read a story, you're going to interpret it a certain way. But if you're not interpreting it the way that the writer intended it to be interpreted, none of your writing feedback is going to help. Yeah. So as a beta reader, well, okay, I mean, it might help, but it's not going to be helpful in the way you want it to be. So when you're beta reading, at least for me and whatnot, I just want your feedback as a reader. I want like I want you to go into it being like, oh, okay, I'm a reader. This is how I interpret it as a reader. This is what I think as a reader, because that's letting me know how you're interpreting my intent.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what I really need at that stage.
I think that the best way of having a writer as a beta reader is that a beta reader sometimes who's just a reader can say, I don't really like this scene, but they may not be able to say why they don't like the scene. Where someone who's a writer might be able to actually use terms that we understand in the writer side. So you're like, this is what was missing, or the pacing was slow, or something like that, where a reader may not always necessarily know those.
Yeah.
Some readers are really good and they do know those things, but
see, for me, by the time I get to the beta process, I've already gotten writer feedback. I already like got that and stuff. I don't.
But you have the one round of beta readers that are also writers, right? The first round, or that's your alpha.
No, it's just I take whoever I can get. If they are writers and if they are readers, I don't separate them by round.
Yeah, I don't separate mine either, but I have learned to go away from writers for beta reading because of that.
But see, because that's, even if a reader can't tell me, and that's the thing, that's the big thing. I don't need the reader to explain it to me because I am the writer. I am the writer and it is my story. And if the beta reader is like, I didn't gel with this scene, and then they explain it to me in the best way that they can, that could just be one person's experience, right? But if I get like multiple people, I can look at that scene and be like, okay, readers are not like, let me rephrase. I am not getting across what I want so that readers are not understanding what I want in this scene. And then it's about me figuring out how I fucked up because at that point it's my fuck up. So then that's usually I'll like rubber duck with my alpha CP. And then after we figure out how to do what I want to do, I will go back. I will fix it, get a couple other opinions from my other critique partners. And then the next round of beta readers, if they interpret it the way that I want it to go, then I'm like, aha, yes, I have fixed it. But by the time I get to the beta reading process, like I said, I just want the reader feedback. I don't need them to. And
I just tell them.
That's one of the things that, like, going through beta reader and the beta reader process, you learn how to read the reader feedback. Essentially, you learn how to like figure that out and stuff, because readers, and we actually had this discussion on one of my like regular streams recently, is that if you like listen to reader reviews or you look at reader reviews and stuff just of things in general, readers are like people who only read and they don't write, they are entirely different beasts. They want different things from writing than writers do, right? And so like that's one of those things. Like we are told in the writing community as writers, it's like, oh well, your readers are going to want this, your readers are going to want that and stuff. And it's like, no, actually that's just what other writers want, which that's completely valid. But at the same time, it starts putting writers into like boxes of what we think will make a good story. And a lot of times readers be a lot easier to please than.
I just always tell my readers, just let me know. I always ask for gut reaction on each chapter. And I was like, it's okay if you don't know why you have that gut reaction. So I always let them know that. That way they don't feel like they have to try to explain it if they don't know why they're having a gut reaction about it.
Yes, exactly. I am unsure which words were truer.
It was a little while ago that came through, like 12 minutes ago.
I know I saw it, and I knew when I first saw it, I knew what this was responding to, but we were on a roll, and now I don't remember. But so, no, I probably agree.
So Annika said that not published yet, but looking to get published, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you know what route you're going to try?
That's what I was going to ask.
I don't know yet. I'm not in that stage of my life yet, because I'm still in school, and I haven't written that many novel length pieces yet.
You could
Sure.
start with short stories though; those are really easy.
Yeah,
Let me
but I like
rephrase.
novel
It's
length
easy to
more.
publish. May not be so easy to write if you're used to writing long, which is
Yeah.
the category I'm in.
Yeah. I
Um,
would love to publish a collection of shorter stories
yeah, that'd be cool.
because I have them, so I could probably rewrite some of them to suit my style more, my current style.
I mean, if you're not really like trying to like worry about that right now, you could always try to submit some of your pieces to literary magazines. Because the first things I had published was in literary magazines. So before I actually published books.
I don't know if there are any Finnish literary magazines because I write in Finnish,
Oh,
so the audience is a bit different, I think.
True.
Like, at least it's a smaller audience.
Yeah. More niche. My first publication was self-published with all the audacity of one in their early 20s. So I did not have an editor. I did commission the artwork for a cover and then formatted it myself, which was an okay cover. I will stand by the inside formatting of my book. I did so much research and I'm really good at formatting text documents and whatnot. So the inside of my book looked very profesh. But I had self-published 2 books and I unpublished them because I felt that because I didn't like at the time I didn't have the whole like process and stuff down. I published them in a rush because like I was pregnant with my first child and I was like I just need to publish these to prove to myself that I can publish a book even after I have kids. And so I don't think they were representative of the quality of my writing when I was in my early 20s. And so I was like I basically wanted to start over. And so I unpublished them and then had an identity crisis, but it's fine. We're good now.
One
Damn.
of my stories almost got published like last fall because I participated in a writing contest and they really liked my story even though I didn't win. And they asked me if they could publish it as an audio book. So I said, yeah, sure. And then it just kept being pushed further and further. And I think the audio has been recorded, but it hasn't been published yet anywhere.
That's really cool. Do you ever write in English or do you write everything in Finnish?
I write mostly in Finnish, but I have written some pieces in English. They are mainly short stories, though. And now I'm writing a longer piece in English, but it's still in the starting stages. I've only written like 8,000 words of the first draft.
Are you since you're bilingual, are you considering writing a book in Finnish and then writing a translation in English?
I have considered that. I have a few stories that I really like that I think would be nice to translate so more people could read them.
Because I know usually if somebody wants their books translated, they need to work. I don't know how self-published would get translated 100% at the moment, but I know that like for traditional publishing and stuff, they sell the rights to translate it basically to, and then they get those translated. But if you yourself can do it, that's a shortcut in a way.
Yeah.
Adam Fighter said, just sharing, I had a few bad sentences where the reader was forced to slow down enough to get bogged down. It was the flow of my words. I figured it out. It was the consonants and vowels of the words. I'm glad that you were able to figure that out. As one whom is dyslexic, there are many a time where if I'm critiquing or I'm beta reading, I'll be like, this part made me slow down. This could entirely be my dyslexia, but I just wanted to let you know, like, just in case it's not. Identity crisis, been there, done that.
I think too, a lot of sentences, and this is from my teaching because I used to teach college English and literature. A lot of longer sentences that bog down and slows everything down. It typically has a lot of prepositions, so you can check for that too. So,
yeah, the mice running all over the place. For those who don't get my joke, there is a thing. When I was in school, the way they told us to identify a preposition is a preposition. A preposition was anywhere a mouse could go. So it's like in something. Wait.
In, on, over,
Yes.
under. But it can be at, to, onto, into. Yeah.
We had, when I was in elementary school, and learning English for the first year, we had this song about prepositions.
Oh.
It was basically like in, on, under, behind, in, on, under, behind. Then it continued with some other prepositions, but that's the part I remember. That's how we were taught them.
That too would have made things easier to remember.
Yeah.
I like that they do sight words now instead of trying to have us sound everything out. Because English is such an amalgamation of other languages. Our phonetics don't always work between. Yes, they can go between things. I assume that's for the preposition one. Is your name Reikais? That's how I think it's pronounced. Reikais is working on a translation of their first published novella, and got so bored because it felt like just rewriting the same thing all over again. So I decided to add scenes and change current ones. Revisions in the translation. That's an adaptation now.
So there's a gal in the AuthorTube community from a couple of years ago. She's still on YouTube, but she switched over to doing something different other than AuthorTube stuff. But she would, and a couple of interesting things. So she wrote in English, and she said she preferred to write in English because it made her slow down and think about grammar versus she wrote in her language. And I think she was Belgium. I think she was from Belgium. So she'd wrote all her books in English, but then she switched them. She wanted to write them in French because she was going to a fair. And French was her first language. I believe this is what she said. Yeah. I'm trying to remember. It's been a couple years now. She used DeepL, so DEEPL.com, to translate her book into French. And then she went through and edited it herself. And then she gave it to her mom, who was more fluent in French, to make sure that it was all good. But DeepL actually uses AI technology, but it's been around for a really long time. Never said that it was AI. Like, they didn't use those terms of AI. It's been around for so long. But I guess this is what a lot of translators use to start with. Not professional translators, people who are translating their own books and trying to do it themselves. And she said, and I did an episode on my channel, and she said she wouldn't recommend it for someone who doesn't know the language, who doesn't speak the language. Only use it if you know the language, because you have to edit it because it's not perfect.
Yeah. I like that she had that disclaimer, because I would not know where it.
No, me neither.
I think translating my own work would be fun, because like I like writing same things over and over. Like, I'm on rewrite number 3 on my current project, because I enjoy knowing the story in advance.
I don't like the revision process, because I'm like, I wrote the story already. I don't want to keep going over this thing.
I have never before revised anything, and now I enjoy it.
I also enjoy. I don't know that I enjoy the self-revision. I think It all depends, because so if my like migraines and my PMDD are not acting up, then I like the like all of the revision process. But if like my PMDD is acting up, then I'll go through and I'll be like, but can I improve this? But is this the best that it could be? Whereas when I give it to critique partners and stuff, and they're like, oh, well, this could be better and stuff, I'm like, yes, I'm on it. Let's go. That or Fox is very. So for those who don't know, Fox is my absolute like best friend in the world. And we have to outsiders what could sound like a very toxic love language, especially when partnering. So some of his comments and stuff will be like, do better, or it's just like, you can improve this. It's like, you reword this and stuff. And sometimes when he's all like, you can do better than this, I'll look at him and I'll be like, motherfucker, you do better than this, let me. And then I like go in there and do it. So I do not critique that way for anybody else, though, just so you guys know. It's purely because he and I have been critiquing for so long. Rakis, yes. Rakis said that the translated one is basically a whole new thing. And then, yeah. Same. It's done. Get me out of here. I assume that was to you saying that you don't like the revision process.
Yeah.
I like it because I like making it better.
Morgan, she's been my critique partner in the past. She got really busy with her new job last year, but she'd always say, that's where the magic happens.
Use a little magic wand and you go, whoop. I wish it was that easy. I also really like working with my editor, Danica. We've done one project together, but we have plans that she's going to be my editor for Not For Her too. And because ever since I was like a teenager, I had this dream of working with an editor where they were like, oh, well, we could improve this part of the story and stuff, and then sitting there and, just like going back and forth and running my ideas and stuff by them. And that's the experience I got with Danica. Like we sat in a call after she edited all that glitters, and like one of the things that she suggested was that I take like the last scene and I break it up. But I was like, I don't want to do that because it would not be in character for Eric to do some of the things that he's doing now if he does them earlier in the story. Like he's only doing it at this point because a certain thing in his internal arc has been achieved. And then she was like, okay. And we like went back and she was like, I think what it is the balance of the story. So instead of that, she suggested I add like a couple new scenes and stuff so that the story would be more balanced and would flow. And then I was like, okay. And then after that call, it's like, she's in Australia, but for me, it was like 3 or 4 in the morning. And I'm like messaging, I'm like, can I run scene ideas by you? And she's like, yeah, sure, go for it. And then I did. And, she was great. And then I wrote those scenes and then we went through and they needed more work because they were first drafts, but it was fun. And so like, I enjoy the revision and the editing process because it's very collaborative and it's all about like improving the story. But my favorite part is like sending it to readers and then not like beta readers, but like actual readers being like, hey, the story's up on the website and stuff. And then getting random DMs of fuck you, Sam. And then I'm like, what happened? And they're like, oh, I read this. And I'm like, oh, okay, go on. Like, why am I being cursed out all of a sudden? Adam Fighter said, sometimes I find editing difficult. I find every word is necessary. If I give it to a friend to edit, then he removes and easily paragraphs or entire pages. Is your like do you find this friend removing these paragraphs or pages useful? Or do you disagree with their feedback? Because I, too, remove many, many words from one of my critique partners' drafts. And so we do track changes. So, like, I will remove them or I will make a note or stuff. But, like, all changes are final. Wait. No changes are final until they say they're final, so they can, like, go through and keep the words if they want. But most of the time, I am correct, and they should be removed. I mean, it's hard for me to remove words. Well, for him, it's super easy. Oh, okay. I see. You must get better at killing your darlings. It's always easier to, well, at least for me, it's always easier to remove other people's words. A few years ago, I co-wrote with a friend, and it was fantastic. I'd love to do it again. Just need to find the right partner. That finding the right co-writer is absolutely important. Sorry, I just got a DM from said critique partner whose words I removed that says "fuck yourself." You can be mad all you want. I wasn't wrong.
I got 5 minutes until my stream starts.
Damn it, I did it again. This is another reminder to hosts not to look at your stream time, but to look at the clock, because I thought we had 10 minutes. All right. Thank you for the reminder, Shannon. I hope everybody is having a good Storytellers. I hope everyone's having a good weekend relay, and that you guys continue. If you are going to go on to the next stream, there is a link in the description to the playlist. If you keep the playlist up, it'll just send you to the next stream automatically when this one ends. And thanks for stopping by, everyone, and I will see you guys later.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.